displaying the picture on our screen, Trump has gone to really a famous place that all Republican candidates, actually probably Democratic candidates, go as well. It's Versailles. It's in Little Havana in the Miami area. He's still a candidate for president. That's the picture over your brilliant words. We don't need to see that anymore. We know where he is. Garrett, what is the, if at all, any discussion about the severity of what he's charged with?
Let's remember what this case is about. Let's remember what this indictment charges. Again, Donald Trump is charged with a series of federal felonies for mishandling the most sensitive government documents that we have and for obstruction of justice, along with Walt Nauta, who is charged with intentionally setting up lies to the grand jury, to the FBI. Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled legally in a cafe. It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad. That's enough of that. We've seen it already. Let's go over again.
The cable competitors against this show, MSNBS's Nicole Wallace, who I'm convinced is related in some way to Chris Wallace, and CNN's Jake Tapper melted down watching the warm reception the people's president, Donald Trump, received in Miami yesterday. The folks at Versailles Cafe in Little Havana prayed over President Trump, and he brought a round of food for everybody there. Trump fired back at Jake Tapper on Truth Social today. Fake Tapper just demanded that his broadcast be closed down from Miami because there was far too much enthusiasm on the streets for Trump. The good news is he was the only one to do so, perhaps a good explanation as to why CNN's ratings are so low. Well, he and MSNBS. Here to react, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. Great to see you, Governor. You know, the CBS YouGov poll shows Trump polling 38 points ahead of his closest Republican challenger. That's a 3-point increase, Governor, since the indictment was announced. I filled in on the Rob Carson radio show today, and I got a call from a black Democrat who was disgusted with the uniparty attack on Trump. She doesn't want a country where the government chooses our leaders. I think Americans are waking up to the dangers of what many are calling the deep state. What do you say?
Well, yeah, I hope so, Chris, because that's exactly what we're seeing. I don't think Joe Biden thinks he can beat Donald Trump, so he's got to destroy him. And he's using all of the powers of government that every taxpayer pays for in order to do it. Donald Trump is right. This is election interference. But it's more than that. It's also a level of corruption, the likes of which we've never seen before. I lived through Watergate. You know, I was a college student and a voter during that period of time. I have to tell you, all that we're seeing now makes Watergate look totally tame, like it was nothing. And it was considered to be a pretty big deal back then. But what we're seeing now is this unrelenting attack on President Trump. And what you just experienced and described, I think we're seeing across the country. People are sick of it. They're not stupid. Americans have a deep sense of fairness about them. They may not like Donald Trump, but what they really hate is what they see happening, because they know that if they can do this to Donald Trump, they can and they will do it to them too.
Absolutely. Last November, Joe Biden said the quiet part out loud, in fact, admitting that he and his regime are doing everything they can to stop Trump from getting back into the White House and bringing accountability to them. Listen.
We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power by, if he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
Pretty much says everything that we need to know, right, Governor?
He sort of called where he was going to put the shot, almost like a pool player who said, I'm going to take it and put it in the corner pocket. I mean, that's what he said he was going to do. Just like he said that he was not going to give $1 billion to Ukraine unless they fired a prosecutor that was snooping around on his son. You know, he openly said what he was going to do, and he gets away with it. But you were saying something a moment ago, Chris, that I hope the audience underlined and circled. Donald Trump was right when he said the vast majority of the day's press have become the enemy of the people because they're not only telling lies, but they're not telling the truth. So it's a double whammy, and it's a dangerous thing to a government like ours that needs responsible media people shining the light on corruption and evil, but doing it without a sense of advocacy, but doing it with a sense of genuine justice.
Yeah, for me, I'm just frightened out of my mind at watching my government turn into the Soviet Union. You know, we're learning that Trump raised over $2 million, Governor, for his campaign in Bedminster last night, just hours after the arraignment. The more Democrats and complicit Republicans weaponize government against Trump and we the people, the more the people, I think, are flocking to Trump's banner, maybe even people who weren't inclined to support him. Is that what you're seeing?
Absolutely it is, and I think it's important to see, because if the Democrats and the press succeed in destroying Donald Trump, and somehow, whether it's by some of these ridiculous prosecutions or just by fatigue, however they do it, if they could get him to get out of the race, one way or the other, does anybody honestly think the next Republican candidate is going to be treated better? The reason that Trump has to fight like this is he's not fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting for every person who could be targeted by the deep state. And I love the expression, Donald Trump is going to be fighting like the third monkey on the ramp to Noah's Ark. And brother, it's starting to rain.
There you go. Last thing, that's great. I hadn't heard that one before, but I'm going to use it. Last thing, Governor, we have this breaking news where 20 Republicans joined with Democrats to protect left-wing extremist Adam Schiff. As you know, he was under threat of being fined $16 million over his myriad lies about Russiagate. He used his position on the Intelligence Committee to weaponize government against President Trump. He knew he was lying. He went around saying he had proof. He never did. So there was an effort to hold him accountable. But 20, count them, 20 Republicans defected to protect Adam Schiff. Your reaction, sir?
Why aren't they working to protect the American people from the lies of Adam Schiff? Why would you protect somebody who is as corrupt and as dishonest as Adam Schiff? It's beyond me. And why Republicans would defend him, I have no idea.
I don't know why Republicans would defend Adam Schiff's lies either. I guess those Republicans care more about Adam Schiff than they do their own voters. Mike Huckabee, sir, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.